You are looking live at the Leonardo MD-80 in a classic PSA livery. That's the old style PSA, Pacific Southwest Airlines. How you doing, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. CJ here. I'm your classic jet sim pilot, and I'll be taking you today aboard the this beautiful MD-80. It's been a minute since I've flown the MD-80, so this might be more interesting than we expect. We're doing a real historic route PSA between Phoenix and San Francisco, and how do you not love that smile? I mean, it is just what a cool airplane. By the way, I love the way the gear doors are just not quite closed all the way. Love that. Love the Leonardo. Who can't wait for the update coming for MSFS 2024? The real update, right? They made it usable with the 24, but caught a glimpse of some of the art updates at Expo this year. Looks fantastic. You know, with this immersive audio sound pack, it is fantastic. If you haven't heard it, stick around. But hey, do you like the MD-80? Click the like button. Click the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to that 500 subscriber mark. I might have by the time this comes out, but then we'll start going for our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, let's hear it for the MD-80. Just a fantastic airplane, so fun to fly. And Leonardo, I mean, they hit it out of the ballpark with this airplane. It's amazing that this airplane, that from what I understand, might be just, it's sort of a port from P3D, maybe even, which explains some of the visuals, right? I mean, when you get up close, right, not that good. But it flies. It flies as well or better than hand flies, as well or better. Whoops, excuse us while we walk through that GPU. It flies as well or better than anything in the sim. And systems-wise, I'd put it up against anything in the sim. You know, everybody was raving about the whose was it? The Airbus with the MEL items, FSL, Flight Sim Labs. But this airplane's got them. Got the same system. You can MEL stuff. You can brake stuff. It is really cool. Let's go ahead and get the airplane powered up. Batteries on. We'll check the external power. Looks like it's good power. And we got good voltage on the battery. So we'll go ahead and bring that external power on.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
We'll start getting everything powered up. We'll bring up the EFB. And we'll load in today's flight from Phoenix to San Francisco. But God, such a great airplane. If you're not flying it, you are missing out. There we are, Phoenix, San Francisco. Looks good. Go to the weight and balance. Aha. All right. So I've discovered this error that started happening, and I don't know if it's something I did. But see how the takeoff weight is a little bit above where I need to be, and zero fuel weight is above the zero fuel weight where it should be. But yet I used SimBrief, and it certainly did not exceed the limits. So here's what I found out. So I've created the flight plan in SimBrief, right? But if I go back into SimBrief, yeah, you're not going to see it because it's on a different monitor. But go back into SimBrief, regenerate the flight. Let's see if this works. All right, it is now regenerated. And then if I go into SimBrief, there. Now see, everything's back where it ought to be. I am supposed to be at max takeoff because we do have a full airplane. It still looks like it put us a little above max zero fuel weight. Let me check the... this is 122,000 pounds. I should be at 117,790. We'll see where it comes out to. but that's much more reasonable. Max takeoff weight, I have 149.5, and we should be at 142 and change. So it's still not quite right. I don't know what it's doing wrong. Anyway, we'll go with it. We'll double check the numbers before we go. So let's take a look here, and we will go to menu, ACARS, AOC standard, pre-flight, init data, init request. There we are. We'll return. We'll do the weight and balance. Let's pull up the flight plan. We'll bring up the Navigraph charts first. But yeah, some funky stuff's been going on, and I'm not sure if something changed in SimBrief with the integration. But if any of you know, I'm open to suggestions. Let's unload it, import from SimBrief, San Francisco. There we are. We'll go to SimBrief here. We'll view. Okay, we do know we're limited by max landing weight as well. Okay, but let's look at our trip fuel here. Trip fuel, $12,099. Our taxi fuel will be $1,400. It's kind of a lot, but we'll go with it. $25,709. And let's go ahead. We'll fire up VATSIM. We are PSA 1555. And we are an MD-82. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Putting it in vPilot. We're also doing the flight today on virtual VAL, because we have at VAL, we have historic schedules, and it includes PSA schedules. Call sign PSA. That differentiates it from the new PSA. But anyway, there we go. Did I? Flightplan. There we go. Okay. Go back to receive messages, crew message. All right, we got everything there. And it is in the process of loading. Okay, we don't need that. That was the American Airlines boarding sounds. So the new version of VAMSys, well, not the new one, but it has the full music and everything. Let's go ahead and let's see. We got. I'll lose track of where I'm at. Let's go ahead and request refueling. Got the GPU running, so we're good to go there. And let's just make sure our dispatch fuel, block fuel 25,709. 18 and 7. Yep. We'll wait for that to happen. In the meantime, we've done our initial safety check. We got the initial stuff set up here. And we'll go ahead and run through norm. We'll test it. There's the light. Reset the gens. Put them back to the on position. SVR and external power to what we want. APU is off. The external power is on bus. We're in auto. The bus ties, AC and DC, are in auto. The DC bus tie is open. Off, off, off is air. We're loading fuel. That's good. APU is off for right now. Norm. Start pump is off. Fuel heat is off. Ignition's off. Starters are off. Fuel pumps are all off right now. Emergency lights we can go ahead and arm. No smoking sign is on. Seatbelt sign is off. We've got power running to all our probes for the anti-ice. We'll leave it on, Captain. Windshield goes to on. Everything else is off. We're in normal here. The EFIS, normal, normal. Wind shear will test. There it is. We also got it here. Auto wind shear, wind shear. Go ahead and do the quick test on the GPS.
Slide slow.
JipWiz, GPWS.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Off, 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 off. Flight attendant, we don't need to call. We'll go ahead and test the anti-skid, left and right, inboard and outboard. Oops, I didn't let it sit long enough. There they are. Stall test, system on. System 2 is good. Speed warning, good. Logo lights off. Yaw damp, we go to override, we get the light. Mock trim, override, we get the light. Ice FOD, test it. Left, right, looks good. Auto, off, off, auto. Standby, back to the primary, hit the button. Our landing altitude today will be pretty close to sea level, and the weather in San Francisco. Three 009 elevation. $13 Auto off. Auto off. Test looks good. We can also come back up here a little further. No. Yeah, can't get to the test here. Let's try it again from this angle. There we go. That looks good there.
Fire left engine. Fire right engine.
We would do the interphone check here with the oxygen masks. We can go ahead and do the test. Looks good. Oxygen supply is on. We'll go to there. Audio panel is set. We want this set to map mode. We'll dial it down. I like airport and data off. We can leave the lights off for now. Coming across here. We'll leave our terrain off for now. We can test. Outer marker. Middle marker. Inner marker. Looks good. Oh, you know what I didn't do? There we go. What's our Phoenix weather? Phoenix, ATIS, real life. We're departing 7 left. 14085. What's taxing by us? It's a lot of noise. An A319? altimeter setting here is 29 or 9 or 8. We'll set for 1,000 feet above. I've got the decision height set to 400 feet, so we'll see that as we climb out. Test A and B, we're good. And today is an odd day, so we'll leave it on system A. Our zero fuel weights. Zero fuel weight, 124 or 108. Which we're not going to be able to set. Yeah. So let's see what the flight plan here says. Yeah, 117.8. There we go. That's better. 117.8. Test 2.04 looks good, and 12 degrees looks good. We will probably be doing a flex takeoff. And we're not in takeoff yet. Coming down here, test. Looks good. Speed brakes are down. Power levers.
Flat. Stabilizer. Brake. Butt lap.
Flaps are up. And they'll come up when I pressurize the system. In fact, I would ask now, hey ground, can I pressurize the hydraulics? Yeah, go ahead. Turn the aux on, turn the trans on. Actually, I can turn the trans off. We should get right side pressure. Left side's coming down. And when I bring the trans pump on, should bring both sides up. Flaps are now up. Hydraulic quantity is good. Turn those back off. Good test. Overheat. Yep. Alright, now we can come down here. Up. Crossfeed is closed. Normally we'd test the fuel pumps and then test the crossfeed pumps. We'll keep it rolling. What is Phoenix? Well, we got a squawk. Well, let's do our CTEF for Phoenix. $120.9. $0714. And we can set our number 2 radio to 121.5 and 122.8. We have that set to data. That's off. We can open up our cross feeds. Trims are set to 0. We can check our trim here real quick. There's nose up. There's nose down. Cut off. Works. Trim stops. And then starts again. Excellent. All righty. I think our initial cockpit setup is good. Hope I'm not forgetting anything, but that's what the checklists are for. We will preliminarily do some our takeoff CGB 12.4. We can certainly set that in. And then we'll set up our initial our flight guidance panel, our mode control panel rather. All right, our runway heading will be 078, so we can set that in. Oh, that's speed. 078. Our heading 07. Course 078. Speed we set to 250. The reason is because if we're above V2, we don't want auto throttles bringing the speed, the throttles back. Flight directors on. 32,000 feet. And armed. 078, 078. Looks like we are good to go. We'll bring our bank down to 15. We'll plug that up when we're ready. And then 7 right ILS frequency here in Phoenix. Or 7 left. $111.5. However, before we do that, 111.5. Let's put in 111.35 because we got to do our auto land test. Otherwise, it's not available to us in case we need it. We'll let it run through that test. In the meantime, how's our fuel? 25,650. Yep, we're good to go with our fuel. So our fueling's done. Let's go ahead and start boarding. In fact, we'll go ahead and start the APU. Hold it and start until we see movement. Then we'll go listen to it real quick. There it is. This immersive audio pack is so good. If you've got the MD-80 and have not picked up the immersive audio pack, you're missing out. I mean, come on. What are we doing? All right, APU's on. The APU is now on bus, taking the load. We got the air on. We'll bring on the packs one at a time. Make sure the pack fans come on by the movement of the load meter. Looks good. And we'll start cooling down the cabin. All right, parking brakes are set. Warm light. We don't have oxygen is checked. Circuit breakers are checked. IRS panel. We don't have. Battery is locked on. Fuel boost pumps. I should have turned on one of the right-hand tank. Forward pump for the APU. It will gravity feed, but that just that helps. The boost pumps, we are on for the APU. Emergency lights are armed. Probe heat is in captain. Windshield anti-ice is on. Pressurization auto up and set. Flight guidance panel is set and checked. We can switch over to one, do the auto land here. 111.5. And the set the right-hand side to 78 as well, in case we need to come back in a hurry. We'll let the auto land test finish on the left-hand side. Flight instrument switches and bugs set and cross-checked. We haven't done performance yet, so we'll set the bugs here in a bit. Assume temperature, same thing. Fuel quantity distribution, 25/7 set and distributed properly. GFMS, PMS is inserted and verified. FMS data is inserted. We'll get to that in just a second. Transponder is set. Spoiler levers retracted. Takeoff warnings checked. Throttles are closed. Fuel levers are off. Fuel cost feed lever is off. Flaps and slaps up and retracted. Aileron rudder trim 00. Flight attendant briefing. Departure briefing. All right, let's program. Let's get into this. So we have the we are up to date. We'll go to the position in net. We are at KPHX. We can put that in here. However, it doesn't matter because we've got the GPS, so we can put that in right there. We'll go to our route. We are PHX to San Francisco. And that is KPHX-SFO. We'll put that in the company route, and it should bring up our flight plan. We'll compare it. Make sure we got the right one. Harbor, Kuriv, J72. DCAS, or J212. What am I doing? J212 DCAS, Palmdale, AVE, Makers, Direct Surfer, and a new arrival. Looks good. Departing, runway 7 left. There's an airplane in the alley behind us. That's what's making all that noise. Yeah, that I know he's working on the immersive sound packs, working on the sounds, make them a little bit better. 7 left. We are the Keens 3 to Harbor. Keens 3, Harbor. Execute that. The arrival. We'll go back to the index. The arrival we can expect (28 right Surfer). ILS 28 right from Eddie. San Francisco arrival. Back on the FMS. ILS 28 right from Eddie. And we have the Surfer 4 from Surfer. So we've got our route in. We can now do our performance and net. Cruise altitude 320. Our fuel 25.7. Slant normal. Our zero fuel weight. Hope you can hear me over that airplane. It's kind of loud. Zero fuel weight 117.8. Our reserves 10.4. Top of climb OAT is minus 44. There he goes. And our wind component is minus cruise wind. 008 at 22. All right. takeoff. We actually we should have that in our release. There we go. Takeoff data. 7 left. Uh, 143. We are limited to 149. 142.1 after 1,000 pounds. That looks good. So we are at a flaps 11, which we do not have to put in dial flaps because flaps 11 is a standard setting, and we are at 47.51.57. 147 is our V1. 151 is our VR. 157 is our V2. We can set our bugs. 147 looks good. 151 we don't have marked, and then 157 looks good, and flex 37. So we got a flex 37. Okay, so the FMS is now set up. The flex temp TRP is set up. Before takeoff checklist is just about complete. We're complete to the line, actually. All right. Sorry, Mrs. CJ was texting me. Okay. We are good. How's the boarding going back there? Where are we at? .101. So we've got a little ways to go. What's the cabin temp doing? Cabin is at about 25 degrees centigrade. All right, I like it. We're doing great. And actually, now that fueling is completed, let's get our seatbelt signs on. We can go ahead and light up the fuel tanks. We'll run the center ones for the moment, but we'll want to come off the center ones just to make sure we're not getting any lights, which we're not. So we'll leave those off. And we'll stay on the wing tanks. We want separate fuel sources for takeoff, because if there is contamination in the that appears in the center tank, we want to find out after we've got plenty of altitude and we can switch back. Okay, our trip distance is 626, and our distance to SFO is 627. So that looks good. Flex 37, 143.5. All right, I think we are in great shape. So, below the line, seatbelt signs are on. Logbook flight forms have been checked. I've got everything good in here. And just prior to pushback, we have a couple things to check. But other than that, we are just about ready to go. I'm so excited. I haven't flown the MD in a while. And I'm beginning a training rotation in a real-world transport category airplane, and I've been sort of resisting flying different airplanes, right? Because I've been studying up on one particular airplane. But I wanted to make an exception. In fact, when this airs, I will be in that training, in the sims on that training. So, a little nervous. It's been a while since I've been in a training rotation, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. All right, so we'll let boarding complete. How we doing? How we doing on the board? About 20 to go. Got a full house today on our way to San Francisco. That's why we're so heavy. We're also heavy because our alternate is kind of a hike. It's Sacramento. Oh, is that somebody departing? Must be. Whoop. Let's leave performance, or let's leave that up. We already have our performance numbers. But yeah, the yeah, we got to be below 130 for landing, which shouldn't be a big deal. The shear, see the shear number? That's sort of an indicator of how much wind shear there is at the altitudes around you. So 4 is kind of in the middle, so we might have some bumps here at cruise. All right, boarding's done. I just want to take a quick look. Yeah, light winds, few clouds at 500 feet. Yeah, good. It'll be a nice day. Nice day. All right, so just before push, we'll go ahead and get our anti-collision light on. There's our... Oh, that was our... Is that ACARS? It sounded like ACARS. But I don't have a new message. Oh, that was the attendant letting us know boarding is complete. Let's go ahead and dismiss the GPU. And aux transpump on doors and windows. We are closing. I can go ahead and close that door. It has been closed. Anti-collision lights on. Cabin radar ports received. Flight deck doors closed. EFB is set and off. We'll tell GSX we are ready for push and start. Now, I know I should be powering back. Gosh darn it. What's the matter with me? Doors are closed. We can go to setup. We can go into flight mode.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
And actually, we can turn it off. Save the battery. Remember, in the Mad Dog, the battery can die if you're on a really long flight. I'm ready to go, too. Oh, I need to set my push-to-talk switch. I didn't think of that. Push-to-talk. Set new. Cancel. Yes. Got to reset the software. Stand by ground. I gotta boot vPilot back up. Connect. Settings. Push to talk. We want J, spot J. Where are we at here? Spot J2 facing north. Let's do that.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
All right, here we go. Okay, let's start them up. Turn off the bleeds. Pressure comes up. Start with number 1, System A. Here we go. We got N2.
Please set parking brakes.
22%. Fuel. There's the light off. Love it. Brakes are set. Pressure's normal. All right. We had the switch over. Close it up. Turning 2.
Unlocking gear.
N2. Oil pressure. N1.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Fuel. Light off. Watching that EGT for a hot start. Watching N2 for a hung start. N1's turning. Head the switch over, close the guard. We can bring the APU off bus. The generators have the load, and we can bring the packs back on. The pack fans are on. Excellent. We'll go ahead and close those. Arm the speed brakes. Oh, it's because I don't have. Oh, I don't have auto. Oh, the PSA birds didn't have auto brakes, so there's no arming the speed brake on takeoff. Aha. All right, Anyway, bleeds are off, ignition's off, fuel is the way I want it. APU we can shut down. Pressurization set. Auto brakes we don't have. Radar goes to is off. I don't have to touch that. That was the silly thing to call out. I think we're good. After start checklist. Engine anti-ice is off. Air conditioning is established. Flaps. Oh, duh. Yeah, we gotta go to flaps 11. Slats are out. They're in takeoff. Go to flaps 11. Spoiler lever is not set. Auto brake we don't have. Flight controls. Look for the spoilers when we test the ailerons. That's good. Back, forward, look for the elevator power. We got it. Controls are checked. Takeoff data and bugs set and checked. The 475157. There's our flaps up speed. There's our slats up speed. And we're going to be taking off runway 7 left. Stab trim. Flaps 11. Stab trim is set. Spoiler lever is not armed. ABS. Okay. We are ready to taxi. Let me try to set my push to talk switch button one more time. Alright, well, it's not working. I don't know why that is. Anyway. Alright, let's go. We don't have... let me try this. Phoenix traffic, PSA 1555. We're taxiing out from Alpha Gates to runway 7 left. Charlie Tango Echo. Here we go. Yeah, I turned up the sounds, so one cool thing you can do, hear how you can hear the engines? They're not loud, but they're there. Is this volume switch right here. If it's all the way to the right, which is where it defaults, it's like real, which means you hear very little from the cockpit. I know a couple MD-80 pilots, and I used to jump seat a lot on the DC-9s. May have ridden on the MD-80, but the airline that I jump seated on most of the time had very few MD-80s. They were mostly DC-9s. It was Northwest. They had a few they got from Republic, but there weren't very many. Anyway, it's like a video game up here. You push and pull things, and you hear nothing. You're watching the gauges. Can you just hear that in the background a little bit? And by the way, that is, I love that nose wheel noise. Hear it creaking? I remember that noise very distinctly because on my first jump seat, I remember asking about it. Like, does that mean something's worn? Something's tired? Nope, that's just the nose wheel noise. Nose wheel steering noise. I think he told me exactly what it was that was so noisy in there. I don't remember. All right, there's Sierra. Tango's next. We'll hang the left. And then we'll turn right on Echo. There's Tango. It is a warm day in Phoenix, as always. Well, it's not horrible. 27. It's been a lot hotter. Alright, this always freaks me out because it looks like there's a big gap in the pavement ahead, and then as we get closer, it'll sort of fill in. I think it's a scenery, because I remember it happening in 2020 as well, so it's not just a 2024 bug. It's in this this aftermarket Phoenix scenery. Alright, APU is off, pneumatic cross feeds are closed, flight controls are checked, hydraulic system checked, high and on. High and on. Anti-ice is off. Packs are on. Takeoff briefing is complete. Annunciator has been checked. Engine ignition and lights will get closer. So we are ready for lineup. Yeah, we're pretty heavy. It's an MD-82, so it's got the smaller engines and a little less fuel. And then there's the 83, which has the additional fuel tanks and the bigger engines. And then there's the 88, which has the bigger engines, but then these fuel tanks. Here's Delta. We'll turn right on Echo. Echo could be problematic if somebody's thinking about landing. But doesn't look like there's anybody on final. So we'll hang the right here on Echo. And at this time I would reach down, grab the PA. Say, flight attendants, prepare for departure. Got to give them about 5 minutes warning. So our departure today will be out I'm drawing a blank on the name of it now. Keynes 3 departure. Actually, we want 220 knots. 220, bare max speed, so we make this turn. But it'll be RNAV FUTEP, Ascurd, Uzai, Massive, Oakley, Wilco, and on out. Our only restriction is above 7,000 feet at Massive, and 220 knots until Massive. Which works fine with our clean speed. Go ahead and go to click the toggle buttons, takeoff, takeoff. And then once we get in the air, we'll go to nav. above 400 feet. So it'll be auto throttle's on to our flex takeoff keeper, which is set right here. We'll look for it to go right to the bug. It'll be V1 call, rotate. We'll hold V2, approximately V2 plus 10 until 400 feet. At 400 feet, we'll nose over accelerate to 220 knots and also come back to climb power. We'll bug up, accelerate to 220 knots, follow the nav around the corner, make sure we're going to hit massive at 7,000 feet. And then after massive, we'll continue our acceleration at 250 knots. And then to our climb speed above 10,000 feet. If we need to return, we'll make a right-hand traffic pattern back to 7 left. And we'll just do it visually. We have the 7 left ILS dialed in case we need it. But we'll just make right-hand traffic. Prepare for a high weight landing. An overweight landing. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So cool. Love flying these old liveries. Love flying the Leonardo. Thanks for coming along today. Should be a nice, beautiful approach into San Francisco. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be smooth. Looks like we'll have some light to moderate chop at altitude, but we'll see how it works. All right. Lights, ignition. Actually, we can put them on both. Packs will remain on. Phoenix traffic, PSA 1555 will be departing runway 7 left. Phoenix, be a right turnout via the Keynes departure. Lights. Ignition's on. Nav lights are on. Those lights are on bright. All right, ready? Bring up to power set. Clamp. 80 knots. V1. Rotate. Up we go. Positive rate, you're up. We'll go to nav. We're above the 400 feet. speed. Let it accelerate. Flaps 0. Bug up. Correct slats. And at 220 knots, we'll go into IAS. There it is. Climb. Autopilot A on. Vertical speed. I blew it, chat. 243. Yeah, I didn't engage the autopilot correctly. That is totally on me. Again, it's been a while since I've been in the MD. Now we can set our IAS there. Bring the power up to the bug. Whoa, easy. Yeah, so the auto throttle is going to clamp mode when you go to IAS, and you use. The speed's not low. I'm good. 220 knots. All right. It's not happy with the speed. So I think what we're seeing here is the difference between. Remember, I earlier in the flight we had the discrepancy between the load sheet, and it was showing us way overweight. And you see how here, even though we have a clean speed or slat retract speed of 200 knots, but the scoreboard here was not liking our speed, and so I brought the slats out, and now it's happy again. That is why. Direct Oakley. Oakley, execute. Alright, now we can go to VNAV. Above 10,000 feet. Slats up, or slats in. Gear is up, no lights. Spoiler levers disarmed, we never use it. Auto brake we don't have. Flats and slaps up, retracted, no lights. And engine ignition we can bring off. Fuel system, we can now bring on the center tanks. Pressurization and air conditioning is checked. Everything's working the way it should. And our APU is off. through 10,000 feet. We can let the cabin crew know. Fuel system is checked. Annunciator is checked. Hydraulic pumps. We can go to low and off. And we got our stereo flight deck chime is done. Okay. A little bit of a goofed up departure, but that is why in the real world, line pilots typically fly one type of airplane. Because I have been flying a different type for a while. And like I said, I'm paying a lot of attention to a different type right now. And you forget the little things. But still fun. Climbing out of Phoenix. Climbing out of Phoenix with a smile on her face. Aww. That stinks. We got a shade randomizer in our way. All right, on our way up to flight level 320 for our 500-mile flight into San Francisco today. Unfortunately, no ATC. But here's what the here's what the VATSIM world looks like right now. There's us, PSA 1555. And there's San Francisco. If you guys don't use VATSIM radar, it's another thing I'd highly recommend. There is no cost to it, as I recall. But it's got a lot of really cool features. Like right now, I clicked on my destination. You can also click on the airport. And it brings up the window for San Francisco. And I have it set so that if I zoom out, all inbound airplanes to San Francisco, right, I can now see their routes. So I can compare their routes to mine. Gives you some, just some situational awareness as to who's coming and what. You can also click over here on SFO. You can click on the arrivals, see the little airplane descending. And we can see we've got a plane coming in here from Munich. I think that's Munich. That arrives in an hour 19 minutes. We've got me arriving in an hour 36. And then we've got United 2055, which must be this person. 777 from Brisbane. Wow. In 2 hours and 3 minutes. So it doesn't look like... It looks like I'll be arriving behind this Airbus A350. This Lufthansa A350. But nobody else kind of on the radar to be in our way. We've got this British Airways way down here from London, but they still got 4 hours to go. They're up. Here's that. Oh, it's an A380. Sorry. I guess I didn't say what it was. A380, but they're still up over the Hudson Bay. So pretty cool. It's a really cool little tool. Gives you good situational awareness. You can see who's flying. So like this British Airways. So it's somebody that's got about 500 hours on VATSIM. So a little bit of experience. Also tells you what they're squawking, what comm radio they're tuned to, right? So if it's somebody that doesn't understand the CTAF concept, you can see what frequency they're on, and that way you can tune to that frequency if you need to. Usually it's 122.8, of course. But the Lufthansa flight, Lufthansa 458. So here's somebody with 3,600 hours on the network, so very experienced. Chris, is that Hamburg maybe? Anyway, it's kind of nice to know the experience levels of those flying around you. Gives you an idea what to expect. No guarantee, of course. I've seen plenty of people with a lot of network time that seem challenged. But anyway, we are above, so we can go to 2992. Set left center, and exterior lights. And we also check our performance. So I've got the performance charts, the cruise charts. We're 140,000 pounds. We're wanting to go to 320, and 320 is not an issue for this airplane at 140,000 pounds. So we are in good shape. If we do encounter moderate or greater turbulence, we're going to need to come down to flight level 300 in order to maintain G protection. Greater than 1.3 Gs. We want plenty of margin in case we have turbulence. And it wasn't unusual in the MD-80, especially the 82s and the 81s, to have to descend if you were in moderate or greater turbulence. But we'd only have to descend to flight level 320, so not a big deal. Looking at our prog page, we see here we're scheduled to arrive at San Francisco at 21:29 Zulu, so about an hour and a half from now, with plenty of fuel, 14,000 pounds of fuel. Again, because of that, our alternate being all the way up in Sacramento. Cults is 28 miles in about 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 21,000 pounds of fuel. Makes sense. So everything is moving along exactly the way we need it to. Climbing over the desert southwest on our way up to beautiful San Francisco. So, we were scheduled. Our top of climb is out here. Notice the banana is here, but it's also, the banana is at this rate of climb. So as we ascend naturally and the engines lose more and more power because of the altitude, right, our performance will suffer. And we should hit our top of climb just before this Kirov, which we can compare to our flight plan. Top of climb, just before Kirov. Top of climb 22 minutes in. And 20 miles short of Kirov. So, and I like to compare that, right? It's nice to compare predicted performance with what really happens. And the reason is it can tell you one of two things. Either there's something going on with the airplane, if it doesn't match up, or the weather that was being used to predict this performance is a lot different. Either way, it's good information to have, right? So if something's going on with the airplane, you want to know, is climb power not getting set correctly by the auto flight system, the auto throttle system? It's good to know. Or is weather an issue? Because if the weather is not happening as predicted and as planned for, then that's a clue that your forecasts are going to be off, right? So it's something you want to look into and you want to pay particular attention to. Here, as we're coming up to Cults, it's predicting the winds aloft at 321.26. The winds right now are coming out of off our right-hand nose, so kind of the same, 320-ish at 31. So not bad, pretty close. Sort of the rule of thumb, if there's a 30-degree difference in your winds aloft, you want to, again, keep a real close eye on it. Because that could indicate, issues down the road. All right, coming up on 27,000 feet. On our way up to 320. .320 in the window. It's armed. While we're sitting here, we can go ahead and get the. We can go ahead and set up nav radios to sort of keep track of where we're going. So, looking at our en route chart, we could pull up Blythe. 117.4 should be off our nose to the left. Dial that in. Take a look at our RMI. There it goes. We don't have DMEs on the RMI. But at least we can position ourselves. And if we want to get cute, we could put needles 115.2 on the number 2 nav. See where that points. So we are on the 075 radial of Blythe and these 135 radial off of Needles. And if we go to here, and if we were to draw a line, Blythe 75 and Needles 135, they should intersect right where we are. And you can't draw on these on the SimBrief charts, but in the old days when we had paper charts, you could do that. You could draw the lines, and that should kind of tell you where you're at. So kind of a fun way to kind of keep track of your position. But I know you're not going to sit there and draw course lines and try to figure it out. So just see if it makes sense. Just make sure that it makes sense, right? Blythe is here, just a little bit off our nose, not too bad, right? Here we are on the map. Here's Blythe, so a little bit off to our left, and the needle should fall as we proceed along this route. Needles a little bit more of a cut off our right side, so the angle should be greater to Needles than it is to Blythe, right? Just look at it here and here, right? So that's a little bit of more of an angle, and sure enough, about 20 degrees off our nose, about 30 degrees off our nose. So it's using your tools to keep track of your position, even though you've got this fancy FMS with GPS receivers. No reason you can't use the old standby. We could also go to the rows. And now we got the DMEs. We can rotate our course, and it should match up with what we have here, right? So, Blythe, we're on the almost the 068 radial or so. So we move our course. What do we say? 06, almost 065. If I set this to 065, look how the needle almost centers. See, so that's matching up. And we're 34 miles. And we're 67 miles from the Blythe VOR. Out of 31 for 32. Our VSI's vertical speed is below or at about 1,000 feet a minute, so we'll leave it be. Otherwise, we could dial it down. We've gone into VNAV capture, which is what we want to see. Notice, too, on our map, on our nav display, it's giving us an illustration that the single needle pointer is at Blythe, and our double needle pointer is pointing over to Needles. So there on our nav display, we can also see what is in our RMI to remind us. All right, leveling at 320. Okay. There we are at 320. We can reset our altitude bug. We can also turn on our engine sync. Make sure our transponder. Oh, I never put on TARA. That's my bad. Range it up. I like to set it below in case we need to descend. I believe it's, when you're in normal, it's 2,700 feet in either direction. When you set it to below, it's 2,700 feet and 9,000 feet below, something like that. That's what it is on the airplane I'm studying. So we'll keep that in our head. All right, cruise checklist. This airplane has a cruise checklist. Engine and airplane systems are checked. Everything looks good. Engine sync is on. Fuel system is as required. We got all three pumps running in the forward and the aft. All 6 pumps. Pressurization, air conditioning. ART switch. We go to auto. I never turned that off for takeoff. That's my bad. And they like us to stow the wheel at 23 degrees. Cruise checklist complete. I didn't disengage the arch system. That's why we didn't get the proper EPR reading. God, I should have known. Should have known. I know that's how it works. Oh well. Hey, we're still having fun though. Still having fun. And we'll see you in San Francisco. Or at our top of descent. See you then. Welcome back. We have just begun our descent. We're out of 31,000, descending to 6,000 on the surfer arrival. Initiated a vertical speed descent. Here comes our vertical deviation indicator. So we can now switch over to VNAV. And down we go. Gnarly? Gnarly. Jeez. Gnarly. Surfer. Gnarly above flight level 200 and 280 knots. Already had us in a 280 knot, but now the FMS has taken over the speed. So we're looking good. Thrust levers are at idle. Some of that turbulence we were talking about. California coast. All right, gnarly, 280 knots. We're a little slow. But we certainly don't want to be faster than 280. CTAF for San Francisco is 120.5. We are still listening to COM 2. There we go. Waves between 190 and...
Go traffic, contact, 75 lining up with 2, 8 to left. Let's go.
8 left? What? That made no sense.
Allegiant Airlines 8643 crossing one runway, one left and one right. Allegiant, or San Francisco traffic.
Always want to sync up that heading bug in case ATC takes you off of route. Let's bring up our chart here. We're just past waves, 280. EPIC is next between 15 and 10. Using the speed brake a little bit to keep us keep our speed in check. Using the fast slow indicator. We're just a couple knots fast. And we're a little bit high. So just bringing in a little bit of speed brake. You can see it through the window here.
Traffic, United 936, pushing back to start.
Our gate is way down on the beacon course, Bravo 19. So we'll be landing 28 right, and then we'll cross 28 left, come on to Bravo, transition over to Alpha, and take Alpha all the way down to B19. Bravo 19. Okay. Looking at about a 140 knot.
And San Francisco traffic 8 and 5, taking the right 28 left, San Francisco.
Yeah, we'll call it 140 on final with full flaps. Flaps 40. Follett 8,240 knots. We'll descend to 250 once we're through.
Traffic 930
Descent checklist, seatbelt sign. We'll go ahead and come on now. Landing data is prepared. Pressurization is set and checked. Engine sync. We can bring off now. Fuel boost pumps are on. Centers are off. Anti-ice not needed. Anti-fog not needed. Egypt whiz. We'll go ahead and bring it online since we don't have to worry about weather. Through 180. TRP is set to GA. Hydraulic system. High. Sterile chime to go. And we'll do our landing PA. Thanks for flying PSA. Have a good day. There's the bay. With the airport up here. Descent checklist
San
is
Francisco traffic, Allegiant 8643 crossing runway 28 left for 28 right. San Francisco traffic.
San Francisco traffic 298-930, takeoff runway 28, goodbye.
Descent checklist is complete.
San Francisco traffic, Allegiant 8643 taking off runway 28 right.
All right, we're down to 240 knots. Follow it above 8. And then Eddie at 6,000. 240 knots. All right, we're getting fast. This is why you got to watch this VNAV. Matter of fact, speed. And vertical speed, we're good. We'll go to slats. Extend the slats. Speed checks. Slats extend. Throttles are at idle. Slow it up to 240. There's 240 knots. San Francisco traffic, PSA 1555, about 30 miles southeast on the Surfer arrival. He's setting up for 28 right. All right, we're looking good. Alt cap. We can switch over to the ILS chart. We want to be 4,000 here.
San Francisco traffic, Allegiant 8643.
Or 3,000.
Pass 2,000 feet. Switching over to Unicom. Everyone have a good night.
4,000.
San Francisco traffic, United 926, taxiing holding point, runway 28 left.
All right, descending to 4. And then we can descend right to 3. Once we pass Sidby, we can descend to 3. Down to 3 we go. We'll slow to 210 knots. Flaps 11. Master caution. It's because I've got the speed brakes out a little bit. So I bring those in. ILS is armed. Go to Rose. Loke. Glide slope. 180. San Francisco traffic. PSA 1555. 1-2 mile final. 28 right. Throttles are at idle. We're slowing.
$2,500.
2,500. Gear down. Left's 28. Speed checks. Well, not yet. Speed checks. Flaps 28. Speed brakes are armed. Flaps 40. Speed checks. Flaps 40. For landing checklist. Hydraulic pumps high and on. Altimeters. Oh, 3004. I did not set this. 3004. Finish bug set. Seatbelt signs on. Tail de-ice off. Gears down. 3 green spoiler lever arm. Auto brakes don't have. Flat slash 40-40 land. Annunciators check. And ignition. Both. For landing checklist complete. San Francisco traffic. PSA 1555. 5 mile final. 28 right. Alright, here we go. It's been a while since I landed the Mad Dog, folks. I make no promises. Plus 40, speed brakes armed. Auto go around. Alright, I like it. We're ref plus 5. That's exactly where I want to be.
1,000.
1,000 feet. We are stable, sync 700. Love this approach. Great approach, great airplane. Thanks for coming along. Thanks again for coming along. It doesn't get a whole lot more fun than this, folks. Autopilot's away. Still got the auto throttles in. A little below the glide slope.
300.
Continue.
Minimums. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Two in reverse. Spoilers. A knots. Coming out of reverse. Reverse are stowed.
San Francisco traffic, United 926, lining up and takeoff runway 28 left.
I have no idea what happened there. Why did everything... The PSA 1555 will hold short to the left side. is that departing traffic. San Francisco traffic, PSA 1555, crossing 28 left. All right, here we go. After landing, landing lights are retracted, spoiler levers retracted. Auto brake is off, engine ignition, I didn't get that. Engine ignition is off, APU. Flats and slaps up, no lights, radar's off, APU is starting, pneumatic cross feeds we can open. Annunciator lights are out, engine, or I'm sorry, pneumatic cross feeds, right engine. Well, we won't shut it down quite yet, but we're almost there. Let's get across the runway here. We're going to turn left on Alpha. And taxi to Bravo 19. San Francisco traffic, PSA 1555. We're clear of 28 left. Taxiing to Bravo 19 via Alpha. All right. Love it when a plan comes together. And we got to watch a 777 take off right in front of us. That was kind of fun. Make the left-hand turn. Once we make the turn up here, we'll go ahead and shut down number 2. Go ahead and bring the APU ready to take over. In fact, we'll go ahead and put the bleed on. Tell GSX we want to go to B19 so they can have the folks ready for us. B. Oh, there's no B-19. How about B-14? We'll go there. All right, B-14. All right, shut down number 2. All right, the looks like the APU and the left gen are starting to load.
San Francisco traffic, Lufthansa 458 heavy, turning final runway 28 left.
There's that Lufthansa we were talking about earlier in the flight. Bravo 14. Somewhere over here. Can't read the numbers. See if I can see him. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's got everything set up. I should have known. Oh, jeez, sorry. Anybody want to guess their landing rate? Wasn't so bad. 208. Perfectly acceptable. Alright, taxi lights off. Come on. Oh, that's not right. Well, that parking distance is off.
Traffic looks on the 458 heavy, short final runway 28 left.
Alright, the APU's on bus. And air is on. We can go ahead and shut them down. We'll request additional services, GPU. We'll get the fuel pumps. Lights are as I want them. Collision light is off. And request deboard. I don't know if the gate can reach us. We'll find out. Here comes the power cart. Oh yeah, the gate can get to us, even though we messed up that parking. That's what I get for blindly following GSX. Alright, external power is available. Oh, let's go ahead and unlock the door. Alright, shut down. Parking brakes are set, seatbelt signs are off, APU is established, or external power is established, fuel levers are off, anti-collision lights are off, engine ignition is off, fuel pumps are as required. Yeah, they're as required. Emergency lights are off, probe heat is off, windshield heat is off, anti-ice is off, air conditioning is off, oil, hydraulic pumps high and off. Brake temps are good. And that is all for you, folks. Who's being so noisy out there? I don't know, but it's annoying. Well, there we have it. Phoenix to San. Where'd we start? Yeah, Phoenix to San Francisco. There we go. PSA. Virtual. VAAL. Link will be in the description. Thanks for flying with us. Had a ball. Looking forward to our next Mad Dog flight. I gotta fly this bird more often. Well, I'll be flying it a lot more often here in the next few weeks once I'm done with my real world training. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along. I'm CJ. I'm your SimJet pilot, your classic SimJet pilot. Classic Jet Sim pilot. I'll get it right one of these days. Keep the shiny side up. We'll see you next time.